My name is Phil and welcome to Phil Does 3D. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist and I stream live on Twitch on Mondays and Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time in the United States, which is midday in Australia or 1 a.m. if you're in the UK. Remember, if you miss the live streams, you can catch up with the premiere event streams on a Friday and Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific time in the US, which is 9 a.m. in Australia, or 10 p.m. if you are in the UK. Smurfberry Barbecue, Sniper Girl, it's good to see you. I hope you're both well. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope everything's still going well with your mum, Sniper Girl, as well. I saw the images you guys posted on the Discord server. They're looking very cool. That truck is looking really sweet, Sniper Girl. Really sweet. Looks really good. Actually, I'm going to copy this link and we'll show everybody. Why not? Just let me grab my browser. Let's pull it in. There we go. It's looking really nice. Really nice. Sniper Girl says, my mum has a valve blockage. Oh no, going to need surgery to fix it. They're going to shoot for tomorrow. Well, that's not good news, Sniper Girl. I'm sure everything will go well. She's going to be like a new woman when she leaves hospital. All these operations she's been having. Yeah. Not the pooper, as Smurfberry says. Yes, the pooper is an important part of our body. I've said to you guys before how important the pooper is. Sniper Girl says, same, if it's one thing, it's another. Yeah, I know. But as we all get older, it's going to happen to us all. Different parts of your body don't work as good as they used to when you were younger. Such is life, but I'm sure she'll be fine. I'll keep my fingers crossed for her, but I'm sure it'll go well. And like I said, she'll be like a new woman when she leaves hospital, having all of these bits and pieces of her body worked on by surgeons. Yes, but this is looking incredibly cool, Sniper Girl. I love the blades here sticking outside the tyre. I think that's really cool. I love the catcher here on the front as well. That looks really cool. It's looking great. The lights, it all looks really great. Bits of metal here. I love it. Love it. Looks amazing. I did see you mentioned how many tries you've got. And how many are we looking at here? We're looking at what, about nearly 10 million? But you are going to be baking it down to a low poly mesh anyway, I guess. So, and speaking of polygons, like a 10 million polygon object like this is perfectly fine if you're working in film. So I know a lot of people get caught up on having the lowest poly they can, and that's a good thing, particularly if you're making games. Not going to deny it. But if you work in film, they really don't care so much about polygon count. In fact, they want the most realistic looking object. So in that case, this would not be a problem. I like it very much. I think it looks great. Sniper Girl says, yeah, about 10 million, 7.5-ish of that is the front grille. Sniper Girl's talking about the grilling here across the front windshield because it's all modelled in 3D. So that creates quite a few polys. But yeah, but that's an easy thing to bake out to an alpha or something. Still get the same look. And actually it's perfect for an alpha because you can't ever get to the other side of that to see that it's a plane. It would just be a flat plane. So that'd be a perfect thing to have an alpha map on. So yeah, I can see how that could cause to shoot the poly count up. All that fine geometry in the mesh. But the truck is looking amazing. I love it. Love it. The van, I should call it. It's not a truck. It's a van. It's looking great. Less Scooby-Doo now too, actually, with all the bits and pieces on it. I wouldn't call it Scooby-Doo, like the Scooby-Doo van, really. And like I said, I really love these pieces you've stuck here on the tyre. I think that was great. Very Mad Max. And I should know, I worked on a Mad Max game. It does, it looks really cool. I can't wait to see it textured up. It is going to look amazing. amazing. And Smokeberry Barbecue also posted his plant that he's working on. Before I show Smurfberry's plant, I'll show just a couple of the other renders that Sniper Girl did of the van. I won't show them all. You guys want to see them? You jump on the Discord server. You click the link I've just popped into chat now. Or if you're watching me back during the catch-up streams and I'm not live, you can click the link below my panels that says Join the Phil Does 3D Discord. You can join the server that way. But just before we jump into Smurfberry Barbecue's plant, let's just check out a couple of these other images that Sniper Girl posted. Whoa. Am I still streaming, guys and girls? Can you still see me? I just noticed that OBS freaked out there for a minute. Says I'm still streaming. So can you guys and girls still see me and hear me? Yes, you can see me. Oh, good. It hung for a moment, but you're back, yeah. I noticed OBS just sort of dropped frames for a second. It's probably my potato internet as usual. Although I am using the beta version of OBS. They released the full version today, and I'll probably update to it after the stream. We'll see how we go tomorrow. So it could be something to do with the beta of OBS, or it's probably my potato internet. But glad to hear I'm back. Just let me do that. And let me check that. Just making sure everything is copacetic and cool. Looks okay. And let's have a look here. That looks very cool. I love it. And I'll post just a couple of other renders. Let's look at one from the back. Again, if you want to check out all of the renders Sniper Girl has done of the truck, jump on the Discord server. Yeah, it's looking really cool. Really, really cool. Always do this. Just let me fix this up. Very nice work. Love it. Yeah, it looks really good. She's even got a lot of detailing going on inside of the truck here, which we can't see on the outside, but again, if you jump on the Discord, she has posted images of the inside of the back of the truck, and there's a lot of detailing going on in there as well. Looks amazing. And like I said, I can't wait to see it textured up. It's going to look super cool. And we will also check out Smokeberry Barbecue's plant that he's been working on. He is working on like an alien type plant. And I see you fixed your problem with, let me grab these links and we can talk about this briefly too as well. Smokeberry Barbecue has taken his plant into UE4 and was wondering why he was getting these really harsh specular highlights and why his roughness map was black when it should be grey, like more like this. And he did work out that it is because the roughness needs to be set to linear, not sRGB mode. So generally when you import a texture into Unreal, it imports it as sRGB. I don't know why. I guess it's probably too hard for the engine to distinguish it's a roughness map and not a normal texture map. That's probably why it brings it in as sRGB. But you need to set it to linear. And that will stop that problem from happening. You should be close to texturing, Sniper Girl. Good to hear, good to hear. You need to do a lift kit and a few more plates. Then you'll be ready to texture. Cool. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that because it's something that even caught me out initially when I jumped into using UE4. I was wondering why everything was why the spec on everything looked really weird. And it's the mapping type. So it's easy to change. You just open up the texture that UE4 imports. Once you open it up, in that little modal dialog box, you can change it there. But I'm glad you worked it out, Smurfberry. It saves a lot of steps of having to take it into Photoshop to do color correction like you did here. Smurfberry says, I wish my problems were limited to just not checking the right box. Sniper Girl says, to be honest, for Unreal, it's best to stack your grayscale images. It's pretty easy to do. I'm not sure what you mean by stacking your grayscale images, Sniper Girl. What do you mean? What do you mean stack them? Generally, with your roughness and your metallic, you can put those in the red, green, and blue channels inside of your texture map if you really want to save on texture space. So that's a good way to do things as well, which is probably what I'm going to have to do when we if we jump back into that that level I created in Unreal to do some optimization. Smurfberry says, yeah, it's packed RGB texture, albedo rough metalness. Sniper Girl says, that's what I was oh, okay, yep, that is the best way to do it, yes. So unlike the way I did it when I did my cinematic, and I did it that way because I was making a cinematic and not a game. I didn't really care. I used three separate textures, or three separate textures. 3 or 4, as opposed to one, and using one is always better, particularly for a game. So we're going to part of that optimization stage for that level is going to be me going through and putting all those textures into the RGB channel. Yep, so that is correct, Sniper Girl. Yep. Smurfberry says, but it's an insulator, so I'm going to shove something else in the blue channel, like thickness or something. Oh, okay. You don't have to use those channels for, you can use those channels for whatever you want, however you want to set up your shader in UE4. And it does save quite a bit of memory, texture memory, if you do stack them in your RGB alpha. Can't pack 4 materials total under RGBA. Can pack 4... Sniper Girl says, you can pack 4 materials under RGBA, red, green, blue, alpha. You can. That is correct. And usually it's you have your texture, your main texture, and then in the red you might have. Don't quote me because I always use. That's why I stopped doing it, because I got them mixed up between R, G, and B as to which one is really meant to have the roughness and which one's meant to have the metallic. It doesn't matter so long as you hook them up properly, but it gets confusing if you start mixing them around. So that's why I stopped. What was I saying? Oh, no, what was I saying? Now I've forgotten what I was saying. But you're right. Packing them is the way to go. Sniper Girl says, if you have the substance file, you can set it up to export it in the materials app. You can, and I did. When I first started doing the furniture, you guys and girls watching me that remember back that far, I did start doing it that way. I was using the template in Substance Painter to automatically store them in the RGB channels. So that's true. But then I changed the template to separate them out, simply because I found it easier to work that way. So maybe a quarter of my furniture models have been packed and the rest of them haven't, because I stopped after I started doing it for a while. Because I was getting confused. It was confusing me. I kept forgetting whether the red channel was the metallic or the roughness, and so I decided to separate them out. You got to forgive me, guys. Come on. I mean, I'm streaming at the same time. I'm monitoring my chat. It just got too much for me. It's just easier for me to separate them out. That's the reason I did it. That's my excuse anyway. And you're all going to have to live with it. But it's going to come back to bite me, because if I have to do an optimization, I'm going to have to do it anyway. So I was just never intending to actually make a game. I was always intending to do a cinematic, and I just changed my mind. It's all your fault. And your fault. And your fault. Sniper Girl says, we understand, you're just old. Oh, you get a fill slap for that. That is so rude. So cheeky and so rude. I'm probably older than a lot of you guys, but I'm far from too old. Oh, wow. Wow. Not 5 minutes into my stream and I'm being told I'm too old. Just great. Just great. I just want to show the image that Smokeberry did of the plant itself. Another shot because it looks cool. Which is this one here. Very nice. I don't want to sort of make it too big and have my fat head hide it all. But it looks great, Smokeberry. Really nice. I love it. I love the design of it too. It's mega creepy. It reminds me of the eggs from the Alien movies. You know? Those scenes where those eggs open up and the thing jumps out. Ooh. I know you were playing, Sniper Girl. I'm just playing too. I hand out my fill slaps in love. I don't mean them. I know you were playing. You guys can be as cheeky as you want, within reason. Don't be mean at me, or to each other by that. Yeah, it's very cool looking, Sniper Girl. Really cool. I love it. Love the design. Love the sculpting of it as well. The shape looks really, really cool. I'm just curious how you're planning on texturing it, Smokeberry Barbecue. Is it going to be this colour scheme? Is it going to be a burgundy and a blue, or is this just a placeholder? I'm just curious, that's all. I'd like to know. Inquiring minds want to know, Smokeberry Barbecue. The only reason I ask is because I noticed this image here that you posted in the editor in UE4. You still have those colour schemes. I'm just wondering whether you're planning on keeping that, in which case that's completely fine, or not. It doesn't look like it. Looks like this might be a placeholder. Smokeberry says it's kind of a placeholder. I just took single smart material and slapped. Okay, cool. Yeah, because I'd like to see a bit more detailing in the texture. That's all. You can keep it as a burgundy and a blue, but just put a bit more detailing into the texture, I think. But if it's only a base texture, then that's cool. I understand. I get it. We're going to be jumping tongue-tied to do the texturing for the model that I'm working on. We're going to be using Substance Painter and Mari. Now I'm going to use Substance Painter to do like an undercoat, a base coat, base texture, and then we'll take that into Mari and we'll do an overpaint, just adding a little bit of detail, a bit more interest maybe. So I like Substance Painter. It's a great program, even though it is owned by Adobe now. But I find everything that comes out of Substance Painter, it looks too generic and like everybody else's work, because we all use the same materials, smart materials. We all use the same shaders that you download from Algorithmic's database. So everyone's work ends up looking the same, particularly with the smart shaders, because they all do destruction or dirt or in the same way. They do a procedural pass over the model. So everything ends up looking the same. So that's why I want to take some pieces into Mari and overpaint them just so they look a little bit more unique. The colours are too dark, Smokeberry says right now. Yeah, okay, yep. And again, if that's the case, you know how to fix that in Photoshop with your texture map, with your texture, don't you? Play with the levels in Photoshop, or you can do it in the shader itself. You can add a constant or something and change the how dark the textures are that way if you want to do it that way. It does add an extra step in the shader compiler, but unless you're going nuts, it shouldn't slow down anything. This is the concept art. Let me have a look at the concept art. Curious to see. I think you might have shown me the concept art and I'm just being my usual stupid self and keep forgetting. Ah, nice. Let's get in here and have a look. Oh, okay. I see where you're going. Yep. I love the color scheme is fine. I don't have a problem. It's alien. It's meant to be strange. But I do like the fact that in the concept art here we have this variation in colour happening, I think, and particularly on the inside here as well. Even onto the top parts of the plant here, there's a lot of variation in the colour. It looks cool. Looks really cool. You've done a great job at actually following that concept work as well. Really nice job at following the concept work. Looks great. Are you going to put these bits in as well? Because they look really cool. This flowering type bit in the middle. You don't have to. It does look cool though in the concept work. Smeppery says, I'm also going to add some emissive little bits to it and some extra props. Okay, cool. Yeah. Emissive would look really cool, which is something that is not really, you don't seeing in this concept work. There's no emission going on, but emission would look cool. So simple to do in UE42 and a shader, and really effective. So thumbs up from me. It'll look really cool with some emissive materials on it as well. Nice work, nice concept work too by Jack Martin, who obviously from Westwood Studios and Electronic Arts. He's done some nice concept work there. I heard about, or I read about, I should say, I think it was last week, EA sacking all those people. I hope Mr. Martin here wasn't one of them, if he was still working for them. Which isn't cool. Isn't cool. They announce huge profit and then they go and sack 600 people. EA from across all their studios. I've told you guys about EA before. They're not good. They're bad. There was a job opening here in Melbourne not that long ago that I noticed. And I just sort of cringed to myself and thought, please, none of my friends apply to work there. Yeah, because I've known people that worked at EA. And so I've heard the inside information about the company and I know what they're like. Yeah. Smokeberry says, I'm evolving the concept rather than being a slave. Well, that's fine. That's your creativity and that's cool. I'm all for you guys and girls being creative. If you want to take parts of a concept, of concept art and rejig it into your idea of what it should be, then you go right ahead because that's being creative and that's cool. I fully support that. Smokeberry says you can see some extra details in the game sprites along the bottom of the concept. Oh yes, I see here. I'm sort of hidden behind a little bit. It's hidden behind me a little bit, but yeah, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, it looks. I like his concept art. I think it's very cool. Yeah, very cool. Oh, you could animate it to be really interesting too, and I can sort of see in his concept art here how it might animate. Sniper Girl says, honestly, couldn't pay me enough to work at EA. Well, that's good to hear. Guys and girls, listen, if you want to get a job at EA, then that's cool and that's fine. Just prepare yourself. That's all I have to say. Bill will never get a job at EA. They make some great games, but I've heard quite a few horror stories coming out of EA, and again, I know people that have worked for them and didn't have great things to say about them. I've never worked for them, so this is all secondhand knowledge, but you've only got to see the way that they operate in the media to see how they treat their staff, and a perfect example was last week when that story broke that they were sacking hundreds of workers. I think it was 10 or 20% of their workforce. So there you go. But again, they're not the only game studio to do that. They all do it. At some stage, projects will either close or come to a close, or there won't be a new project to take its place immediately, and then they start reducing staff. That's the film industry is pretty much the same, actually. You tend to be employed on a project, and once that project is finished, you have to move to a new studio to get a new gig, a new project to work on, which I didn't really like. I like a bit more security in my life. And even though, if you're careful, like when one project's coming to a close, then you start putting the feelers out to move to a new studio for another project. But even that I thought was a bit too unreliable. I don't like, if you got a mortgage or something, you need to be able to make money so you can pay your mortgage, and just the uncertainty of that industry was just too much for me. Whereas, like the studio I've been at now, I've been with was like 6 or 7 years, so nice and stable. Probably not as sexy as working in a game studio or working on a film, but secure and stable. It's okay when you're young, you don't care. But as you get a bit older, you want a bit more stability. At least I do. So that's the only reason I say that. And a lot of my friends are actually much younger than me anyway, so they don't have a problem with it. They're happy to flit around the world. And it's a good way if you do want to work around the world. You can go from Ireland to the United States to Europe, and just depending on the project and where the studio are located. But of course, if you do want to do it, but you want a bit more stability, you can do contract work remotely, which is what I've done, which is what I do, and occasionally as well. So you can have the best of both worlds. But I'd still, even doing contract work, I wouldn't rely on that alone for an income. I'd still work full time for a studio and then do contract stuff on the side. It means a lot of work, but hey, you have the luxury. If you don't want to do a contract, you don't do it. If you don't like the project, you don't apply for the contract. Maybe they're doing something boring you're not interested in. Well, then just don't apply for it and wait until you get something that you are interested in. That makes it less like a hard workload. If you're working on something that is cool, what you really like, you don't mind working all day at a studio and then coming home at night and working on this contract job because the project is interesting. That's what I'm trying to say. But yes, EA. Oh, EA. What are we doing? Yes, we are going to continue. I want to finish the modelling stages between today and tomorrow. So starting next week, I want to start doing a texturing. So what we did last week was I went around and I just moved a couple of the bars here to make them less perfect. We're going to continue doing that on the other pieces because we are making like a kit bash. So we have these. How many have we got? 3 other pieces, and then we have to tackle the main one right here as well. So let's keep doing that. I'm just going to jump into isolation mode. It'll just make it easier for me to work and not get distracted. Let's open up our group. Just make sure I'm back down at the bottom of my Discord in case anyone posts anything there that I need to see. My excuse for jumping out of frame here. Just checking a couple of things. Yep, that all looks cool. That all looks cool. Alright. Okay. Let's just start moving a couple of these around a little bit. No, again, I'm not going nuts with these. I'm just moving them slightly just to make the thing look less perfect. Making sure I got angle snap turned. Oh, yes, I do. Good. This one, I probably went a bit extreme with this one, but I'll leave it. It's probably a bit much. But I want to be a little bit more subtle than that. I just moved into the local space for my axes. It just makes it easier for me to move it around. Okay, let's keep going down to about here. Might twist this one this way, I think. Let's keep going. Let's put one a bit closer. Android Lust, it's good to see you. How are you? Did you have a good weekend? Hope you're well. It's always good to see you, Android Lust. Okay, let's rotate this one a little bit. Let's rotate it this way a little bit too, because why not? Oh, maybe not. No, we won't do that. We'll just rotate it that way. Your weekend was great. Good to hear. I actually worked over the weekend. Yuck. I got so used to just being a vegetable and watching binging on Netflix series that it was a real shock to the system to actually have to do some work over the weekend. So that's what I was doing. I was working. And I think that they're planning on sending me to hell again, to the middle of nowhere in Australia, not next week, the week after. So I won't be streaming that week. Next week is for certain, but the week after, I'm not sure. I think that's when they're sending me away just for a week, and then I'll be back the week after. But I'll let you guys know on Discord and on my Twitter. So keep an eye on my Twitter and follow me if you haven't already at PhilDoes3D, or keep an eye on the Discord, so I'll post there if I can't stream that week. They've mentioned it to me, and they use. I find I know how they operate at work. They sort of they mention it a week or two in advance to get me ready, because they know how much I hate going out there. So to prepare myself, they sort of mention it a little bit ahead of time, and they mention something. So I'm assuming they're going to send me away. They're going to send me away. Android Lust says, yeah, your van, the van looks great, doesn't it? Android Lust does. Sniper Girl's van, it looks very cool. You work 7 days a week, Android Lust? Well, listen, I usually... I've done that too, and I do that on occasion as well, so it's only recently I've sort of tried to stop myself from doing that. But as needs must, and if there's a contract that's due, then I just have no choice. So one of the perks of working from home is, well, one of the disadvantages, I should say, of working from home is that I have to be on top of my schedule, because if I miss deadlines, they won't let me work from home anymore. They'll make sure I come into the office so they can keep an eye on me. It's only the fact that I can sort of organise myself and get stuff done away from the studio at home that they trust me enough to let me do it. But if that stops, then, yep, Bill won't be working from home no more. I've been pretty good. I've worked from home for quite a long time now. Android Dust says, I would follow you on Twitter, but I don't have one at the moment. Or I still have it if I don't, or I still have it if I didn't deactivate it. Galen, it's good to see you, Galen. How are you? Did you have a good weekend, buddy? Why did you deactivate your Twitter, Android Lust? Hey, listen, I'm not prying. Maybe it was some personal reason. That's cool. I don't have Facebook, so, you know, and I never will. So I'm not really huge on social media myself anyway. The only reason I have Twitter really is just to promote my 3D models that I sell, and it's also because I'm a streamer, and It's the best way for me to stay in contact with you guys if anything unexpected happens and I can't stream, for instance, or whatever, anything like that. But I'll post on Discord as well, so. Snapper Girl says, Andrew, Snapper Girl. No, Android Lust says you don't want to fight traffic to go to the studio. No, I do not. I certainly do not. I like working from home because I can... Well, it's nice to be at home. You know, like I've got my fridge there full of food and I have the TV going. I usually have the TV in the background on a music channel while I'm working because I find if I wear headphones... You guys probably have noticed. I don't wear headphones on stream, and a lot of streamers do. They've got their headphones on, and I've got a good pair of wireless headphones and stuff, but I don't like wearing them because I find my ears get really hot. So I don't tend to wear headphones. So when I listen to music, I have it on a music channel, the TV. So that's nice, being able to listen to my music and not have headphones on like I'd have to have if I was working in the studio. Beating no traffic and stuff, that's also a bonus. And I can get some domestic stuff done at the same time, like I can put a load of washing on or in between waiting for a render to happen, you know, that sort of thing. So that's handy and cool too. I don't have to waste my weekends doing all of those mundane laundry and house cleaning stuff because I can sort of do it in between when I'm working. Because you guys and girls know, if you're doing a render, it can, you know, sometimes take an hour or two, and in that hour or two while you're waiting for the render, you can do other stuff. Yeah, I actually should be working on another project while I'm doing that, while it's rendering, but I tend to sometimes just do some domestic household stuff. Shh, don't tell the studio. Android Lost says, I only got Twitter because my friend moved across country to be a pro BMXer, okay, but I found Instagram better to keep up with him. I have an Instagram account as well, but I've had an Instagram account for, I think I opened it at the end of last year, but I don't really use it. I don't know. Instagram is good for streamers. It's very visual, so if you want to post clips or images and stuff, it's cool. The only thing that put me off Instagram was the fact that it was owned by Facebook, and I really, really don't like Facebook. I really, really, really don't like Facebook. But I do have an Instagram account. And I really should start using it, I guess. You sleep when you render? Well, that's another good thing to do. Android Lust says he sleeps when he renders. And then, yeah, that's a cool thing to be doing as well. Because we all burn the candle at both ends when we're doing our art stuff. I actually, I will take a nap in the afternoon. Have I mentioned that to you guys before? Maybe I shouldn't. It makes me sound like some 80-year-old that needs to nap constantly. But I'll sometimes have a quick hour nap in the afternoon. I think I mentioned it before. So between, well, like I work from 7:30 in the morning through to about midnight. Just depending on what I'm doing and what the project is. So maybe around about 3 in the afternoon, I have a nap for about an hour. It's a good thing. I find because I eat lunch late, because I'll have lunch after I finish streaming to you guys, which is like mid-afternoon for me here by the time I finish. So I have a late lunch, and I find after lunch I get really tired, so then I have about an hour's nap and then get stuck into it again when I wake up. And you can't do that if you're at work. Mind you, I've known people, the last studio I worked at, not the current one, but the games, particularly the game studio, a lot of the guys used to have a nap on their desk. They just put their head down, put their arms up, put their head down, and they'd nap for 20 minutes. It's quite normal. Most employers don't mind because they know, rest your eyes, all that sort of stuff. But I get if you don't want to use Twitter, Android Lust. I do get it. Sniper Girl says, going to call your studio right now and tattle. They could be watching. You never know, Sniper Girl. I would not put it past some of the guys and girls at work to be checking me out while I'm streaming. The directors are probably in their office at the moment saying, look at him, look what he's doing, look what he's saying. Let's have a talk to Philip when he gets in. Because I do go into the studio as well. I don't constantly work from home. There are days where I do have to go into work. Shock horror. For meetings and all that sort of stuff. Mainly meetings are if we have group scrums and stuff. I need to go in. So I don't escape it completely. There are days that I do need to go into work. I'm going to do the next one a little bit closer to this one because I don't want to space them out too much. Sniper Girl says, honestly, I think I'd love to work for your studio. It is very relaxed. The directors that own the company are very nice people. And I've worked with some horrors in the past, let me tell you. But the directors of this studio are incredibly, incredibly nice. Incredibly supportive of their staff. They don't believe in overworking you. They give you all the resources you need within reason to get your job done if you need something. We mentor, or myself and other artists mentor a lot of the junior staff at the studio to help them along. They don't just throw you in the deep end like some studios do that I've worked for. And that can be good. Throwing you in at the deep end is can be helpful to a degree. It can be very stressful though as well. So they're a good bunch. They're a good group of people that I work with and for. I can't complain. Well, I wouldn't have stayed working for them for as long as I have if they weren't nice. It's important. It's important to work for nice people. It is to me anyway. If you don't care, then that's all well and good, but I care. I have to... The people I work for have to be nice people. This is why I've never worked for... I've never worked in gambling, for the gambling industry, and I've been offered a lot of work. Like slot machines, or doing the graphics for all that sort of stuff, the digital stuff. But because I don't really like gambling and I think it ruins people's lives, I refuse to work in industries like that. And actually, I saw an article online too about, Microsoft's HoloLens, that they're version 2, they're just about ready to release. Well, Microsoft have just signed a contract with the American military defense department to use that augmented reality on the battlefield. And there's a big stink because the guys and girls that work for Microsoft, the programmers and designers, said that they never signed up to have their work used in defense or for the military or, to kill people, basically. So they're not happy about that. We'll see how that pans out. I mean, I get Microsoft doing it. The military pay really well if you're a contractor for the Defense Department. But these guys and girls said that they didn't sign up to work for Microsoft to help the American military, or any military for that matter, kill people. So yeah, there you go. And I feel the same way with the gambling industry. I won't work for them because I don't. It ruins too many people's lives. I don't want to contribute to that industry. Sniper Girl says, well, if they're ever hiring and willing to take on a new from across the pond, please let me know. I will let you guys and girls know. It's rare. Simply because the government have sort of made it much more difficult for companies in this country at the moment to bring in staff from overseas. Because... many reasons. The reasons why people don't like having workers brought in from overseas. They say that it takes jobs away from local people and stuff. Now, I don't think that's necessarily true, particularly in these industries that we work in, like 3D or art or whatever. There's a very small group of people that can do the sort of work, or even want to do the sort of work. So sometimes it's inevitable that a studio needs to employ people from overseas. But governments being governments, and politicians being politicians freak out anytime anyone says anything negative. So we have what they call a 457 visa program. And I think a couple of companies abused it, so that was the reason that everything turned bad. But I'm sure it'll change. It always does. Like, eventually they'll go back to the way they were. They'll bring in more people. So you sort of have to really prove, to get one of these 457 visas for people, you really have to show the immigration department that you can't find people for the job in this country. Alright, I think that'll do. But I'll keep my ears and eyes open for you, Sniper Girl, and anyone else, and if it changes at the studio, I'll let you guys know. Because I can recommend them, they're a good bunch of people. But there are a lot of good studios around. There are a lot of bad ones, but there are a lot of good ones. Android Lust says, speaking of using VR for defense, there's a short film called Uncanny Valley where, yes, I'm spoiling it, VR is used for the military. I haven't seen that short film. I should check it out then, Android Lust. So I know the Uncanny Valley was the thing that they called characters, you know, CG people, where the eyes were dead. They said it's that Uncanny Valley where they look real. There's something about the character that just doesn't look right. Yeah. That was a few years ago though. Well, Sniper Girl, don't worry. Sniper Girl says, willing to go anywhere, even down under in the middle of the oven where you live. And we're going into another heat wave. I don't like to talk about the weather because I bitch about it way too much. It makes me sound like again, an old codger that's got nothing better to talk about than the weather. But we are going into another week-long heat wave here in Melbourne in Australia. So that's going to be fun. Because I get grumpy and crabby when it's hot and I can't sleep properly. Anyway, winter's nearly here. Well, autumn, I should say, is almost here. Android Lust says, I will check that out, Android Lust, after the stream. Android Lust has popped a link in there to the video, which is using augmented reality in defense. It was nice and cool for you? Oh, half your luck. Oh, it's not fair. I want to live where it snows. It's not fair, I tell you. We'll get there eventually. I'll leave Melbourne eventually and I'll move somewhere cool. It will happen. What I'm going to do here is we have to do the same thing for these side ones, but I'm just going to tackle the main ones first and then we'll come back and do the side ones. In fact, what I might do with the side ones is I might just... No, we'll see how we go. I was going to say I might do one and duplicate it, but I don't want things to look too copy-pasted. Sniper Girl says it's cold here too with a chance of snow tomorrow. Oh, it's so not fair. It's not fair. I want to live where you live. Particularly in a couple of weeks if they send me into that oven that is the middle of the Australian continent. I've posted images on my Twitter before about what it looks like where they send me and it's just awful. In the middle of nowhere, and I mean nowhere. Like there is nothing around. Absolutely nothing. These mines are in the middle of nowhere. And it's like 50, 55 degrees Celsius. It's just awful. I mean, I don't go there to, party down. I go there to some mine, but still, there is nothing around. I spend my entire time in the office where it's air-conditioned, or in my lodgings where it's air-conditioned. I don't dare go outside otherwise because I'll just melt. Nothing to do when I'm not working, that is. And I'm stuck there for like a week. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. And I won't say that. I was going to say something, but I won't. I'll bite my tongue. Just in case work are watching. Or any of the mining companies that I go into work for. Andrew does says it doesn't snow here, maybe once every 2 years, and only for like 1 or 2 inches. Listen, they can give me a foot of snow. I'd be happy. I wouldn't mind. I know snow can be dangerous. And it can be annoying as well. So maybe because I don't live where it snows. I have this romanticised view of it, but I would like to live where it snowed. I mean, we do have snow here in Victoria, up in the mountains, and I have been skiing. So I do know snow. I've seen snow, I felt snow, but to live where it snows, to look out the window and see the snow falling, so nice. We barely even get any rain in this country anymore thanks to global warming, let alone snow. I might angle this, I'm turning this one, instead of angling it sideways, I'm actually turning it front ways. So it's a little bit different as well. Android Lust says, if you live in a place where it doesn't snow, you'll love snow, I'm sure. Sniper Girl hates snow. It's true. It's true. You always love what you don't have. Sniper Girl says, remember, according to the leader of the most powerful country out there, that global warming is a Chinese hoax. Yeah, right. Yes, sure it is. Sure it is. You know, I live in a country where I see it firsthand. I'm telling you, global warming is real. You can stick your head in the sand, most powerful leader in the world if you want, and the leaders in this country are the same. The current government don't believe in global warming either. And they live in it. They see it every day. It's beggars belief that they can't believe in it. But they say that, you know, no such thing as global warming. But, you know, you have to remember these politicians are beholden to large mining companies that export lots of coal, which is incredibly bad for the environment. Australia exports huge amounts of coal, and it's awful. It's an awful product to be selling and burning. Chinese hoax, Android Lust says. Yeah, he said it as it's fake news. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's probably what he would call it. Everything's fake news, isn't it? It's amusing when somebody has a point of an opinion on something that differs to yours, that you call it fake. I'm not just pointing to Mr. Trump, I'm talking about anyone really. They try and discredit people's points of view by saying it's fake. And the real danger, unfortunately, is we all live on this planet, and if someone that has the power to change things doesn't, and it gets worse, then that's worse for all of us. We all suffer. These people will come and go in government, but the effects of climate change will last forever. That's the issue, and that's the problem, and that's the danger. Sniper Girl says, I know, we wish we could convince Trump that. Yeah. But like I said, our politicians here in Australia, the Liberal Party, they don't believe in climate change either. They don't have any policies in place to try and tackle climate change. Now, most Australians do believe in climate change. Now, that's probably one of the reasons they're so worried, because they're not going to get re-elected in 3 months' time when we go to a general election. The current ruling Liberal Party in government are really worried that they're not going to get re-elected, but it's their own fault because they come out with rubbish like they don't believe in climate change. I mean, come on. You want to get re-elected, then you do what the voters want. You don't do what your political masters want, or your business masters, the mining companies, the mining industry. So they've only got themselves to blame. And Australia does make, like I said, we export a lot of coal. We do make a lot of money from coal. Well, the mining companies make a lot of money. The Australian people don't. And that money buys a lot of political clout. So the politicians will do what the donors, who are the mining companies, ask them to do. So let's just hope we can convince most of these politicians before it's too late to turn back and we all melt. Oh well. Whoever feeds their pockets Android lust, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yep. And of course, a lot of the politicians then get cushy jobs with these businesses when they leave politics. So that's the other reason as well. So, the party gets the donations while they're in power, and then when they lose power, these politicians go and work for these companies and get a cushy job with a good salary. And it just goes on, never ending. Same thing. Every political cycle. Which is why a lot of people are losing trust in democracy now, because politicians around the world are not behaving democratically. They're not doing what the people want. They're doing what they want. So it's hard. It's difficult then to expect people to embrace democracy if you constantly ignore them. I might pull that down. Looks like I lifted it up a bit too high. Sniper Girl says, good luck on that one. So greedy that they probably don't even give a crap if it doesn't come with a ton of money. Yeah, no, well that's the way it is, it seems, in politics now and in the world. If you don't have a ton of money, or if you, they only seem to be self-interested. They're not interested in anyone else but themselves now. Most of these politicians. I'm just trying to work out whether I've got around here, and I think I have. Yeah. Okay, I might just do one more, maybe here. Unlike the French, though, I really like the French, because if their government does something they don't like, they riot. Now, I'm not advocating rioting, because I think that's bad, or can be bad, but I admire the French because of the fuel tax. That was a great example recently, where the Macron government tried to increase the price of fuel, petrol, gas for all you American people, and then the French rioted, took to the streets and rioted until they got their way. And they got their way. So, just saying. Sniper Girl says, same problem here, call it the revolving door. Yeah. Sniper Girl says, Princeton Southwestern did a study in the US and found that over 10 years, up to 90% of the decisions made by Congress, the Senate, favour those that donate to them. Yeah, it's the same in this country. It's only sort of been in the last 5 or so years that they've had to make political donations public in this country. Prior to that, companies could donate to political parties anonymously, so the public never heard about how many millions of dollars BHP gave to the government to come down favourably on some decision of a new mine, say. So, yeah, it's insane to think that could have gone on, but it still goes on. They still do donations, I'm sure, that are not being disclosed, sort of like an underhanded, here's some money sort of thing. And politicians aren't allowed to accept gifts from companies in this country either, but they do. We've just had a big scandal here where one of our politicians got a free trip to Singapore for him and his family and didn't pay for it. So they still try it on. Sniper Girl says the study concluded that the US isn't a democracy, it's an oligarchy. Well, if the US is, then so is Australia. And like I said, then they have then they wonder, politicians, why we don't believe in, why we think that it's all a waste of time. I shouldn't laugh, but it's just, you gotta laugh. You just gotta laugh. Because if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Andrew Loss says it's always a scandal. In Australia, I know it is always a scandal. That's true. Because our politicians behave so badly. That's why it's always a scandal in this country. But Australians can have their say soon enough. In 3 months' time, we have to go to a federal election, and we'll see what happens. Sniper Girl says, only way I'll vote for a politician is if they don't take big money. How can you trust them, though? That's the other thing. Well, what if they say they don't take big money, but they do? This is a problem. I'm sure there are some that don't. I'm sure there are some that are good. At least I hope so. Yeah, particularly when it comes to the climate stuff, because it's something that is going to affect everybody. We are all going to suffer. It's even going to affect these politicians, that don't believe in it. Whether they believe in it or not, it's going to come for them. Because we all live on the one planet. Unless they can escape the planet, then they're going to suffer from it as well. Sniper Girl says it's the norm for the US, so really can't consider it a scandal. Andrew Doss says, I agree. Well, it should be a scandal. They shouldn't be allowed to do it. It's not right. I tell you, it's not right. I can hear a bird singing away outside. Maybe it's after some bread. I feed bread to some of the birds around here, occasionally, not all the time. Again, I'm not some old bugger that sits outside feeding the birds all day. But I noticed that there's these type of birds in this country, where if you start feeding them, and you don't feed them, these birds will sit outside the window and they'll squawk and they'll squawk and they'll squawk until they get some bread. Cheeky birds. It's my fault for feeding them bread to begin with, though. I generally only do it when they're nesting, to sort of like hopefully help them out to feed their chicks, sort of thing. Because the weather's changing so much, and I'm sure it's getting harder for birds to find seed and things because the weather's so dry. And bread is probably not the best thing for them, but hey, I don't have seed on me, I'm afraid. Sniper Girl says, Sliding Door has a list of politicians where their money comes from. I check it before thinking of voting for him. That's a good thing to be doing. Good on you, Sniper Girl. More people should be like you, where they vet their politicians they're about to cast it to give their vote to. And don't vote for people that aren't worth giving a vote to. And that's an excellent thing to be doing. Excellent. Oh, because always remember, guys, they need us much more than we need them. They get paid big salaries, and they have to do basically what the public tells them that they're supposed to. We vote them in and out of power. So if your politicians are not behaving how you want them to, you vote them out. That's your right. Sniper Girl says, I'm a political social activist. Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with being a social activist, I think. I'm not suggesting we should become a socialist country, but a bit of socialism is never hurts. We can have both. We can have socialism and capitalism at the same time. Because I know you Americans, you like your capitalism. We do here too. That's not fair. I shouldn't say that. But it just sometimes I find capitalism can be a bit cold. It can leave vulnerable people stranded in society, and that's not good. Why should the few mega rich get richer and richer every year while you've got people starving in your country? That's just not right. So I agree with you. It's good to be a political social activist. I think that's a good thing. And like I said, they're only there because we let them be there. We put these people into power and government. So if for any reason they're not doing what you want them to do as a voter, then you vote. You make your displeasure known when you vote. Let's do a quick save here because I really don't want to lose the work we've done. So yes, don't twist my words, anyone. I'm not advocating becoming communist. I'm not advocating becoming completely socialist. But I think a little bit more social welfare and stuff is a good thing in any society. For those people less fortunate that need a hand, conservatives in this country are quite fond of saying, because they don't like social welfare, of saying, well, you know, if these people really wanted a job, they'd have one, or if these people really wanted to eat, they could. But that's not always that simple. You know, people's circumstances can be very difficult sometimes. They may come from a broken family background, they may have a drug addiction, many different factors can influence people's lives. And just to have a blanket statement saying, oh, well, you know, these people want to live that way is just crap. I'm sorry, but it's just crap. Of course, these people, you know, the ones saying it, if they were ever on the receiving end of not being able to eat, they'd bitch and they'd bitch and they'd bitch. I guarantee it. Okay, let's just do a couple of the ones on these side pieces now. So I'm actually interested to see Microsoft's HoloLens though, that augmented reality. It looks very cool. Very cool. The new version 2 that they've just developed. But I'm more interested in augmented reality than I am in virtual reality. I think augmented reality has a lot more uses than virtual reality. I just think it's more useful. So I'm keen to check out Microsoft's augmented reality. Sniper Girl says it's not looked at that way in the US. In the US, people accept the way it is. There's no real fire to fix things. Well, that's a shame. I've noticed too in the United States, you don't really have a lot of unions in your workforces, which is another thing that's a shame. In Australia, we have quite a strong union workforce. So if your company does something bad, you go to your union and your union will strike. And pull in other people from other companies to strike with you until those conditions are improved or whatever the problem is with the company you're working for. And I have noticed in the United States they don't seem to have a big union movement, which is a shame. So you guys need to unionize more. Every big business hearing me would be just cringing because big business hate unions. Because that gives more power to you as a worker and less to them. Some unions are bad, though. I'm not saying all unions are great. Some unions are pretty bad too. We've had scandals in this country where unions have taken, because you pay like a monthly fee to be a member of a union, and that fee is supposed to go to the running of the union. But some of the people higher up in the union have taken that money and spent it for themselves. So there's been scandals that way as well. I'm not saying unions are perfect either. Galen says to Sniper Girl, haven't you heard poverty in the US is a choice? Yeah, well, that's the same line they run here, Galen. It's a choice, that's right. They want to be poor and they want to be hungry, yeah. They want to go sleep under a bridge, that's right. Wax Kink, it's good to see Wax Kink, says, I feel like it's the same rule as the food industry rule, in that all people in power should be forced to live in poverty for a year or so. That way they can get a taste of how it feels and make better choices to help all and not themselves. I agree. I'd love to make it so our politicians have to survive on social welfare in this country for, just a month. Make them survive on social welfare for a month. I don't know what you guys call it in the United States, unemployment insurance, or maybe you call it over there. We call it, what do we call it? Unemployment benefit, we call it here. Yeah, I'd like to make some of our politicians live on what they pay on that benefit just for a month. I'm sure, see how much they like it. Because they're constantly saying how they want to cut it back, and these people want to live this way and they don't want to work and they like to be poor, and I've never heard anything so ridiculous in all my life. Galen says there are states in the US that allows companies to fire you if you try to unionize. Oh wow, that is just shocking to hear. Shocking. The fact that they can fire you if you want to unionize is just terrible. They couldn't get away with that in this country, Galen. No, thank God. They're constantly trying. The politicians are constantly trying, but no, they can't get away with that in Australia. That would cause huge outrage, because the union movement in this country is quite big. Thank Christ. I hate to think if it wasn't, I just hate to think. Because I've seen the horror stories that go on in the United States. I've seen the news reports. It's just not good. Particularly after that subprime mortgage thing. You remember that happened way back in wherever. When was it? Around 2012 or 2008? I don't know. Way back then, years ago, where people were buying houses and the property market collapsed in the US, and a lot of people lost their homes and all that sort of thing. There were a lot of stories in the news at that time about people living rough because they had no choice. The banks foreclosed on their home. So they were living out of their car, or they were living under a bridge or whatever. Now, we have people in this country that live that way as well. I'm not suggesting Australia is this utopian perfect place. We do have homeless people here too. And it makes me mad, actually, that in this country we have people sleeping rough because of the government. Or again, they might have an addiction, a drug addiction, or they might be alcoholic, or there could be a good reason why they're homeless, but that doesn't mean that they don't deserve help. That's what annoys me with politicians. It's sort of like, well, they deserve this, or they asked for this, or they want to live this way. Well, they don't. No one wants to live like that. They have no choice. That's why they're living like that. But Android Lost saying companies in the US, if you complain about something the company did, you get fired. That's you can in this country too, like whistleblowers. If you're working for a company and you blow the whistle on them to the media, there are companies here that will sack you, and then they'll go to the courts, and they try it on here still though. They will try it. They don't like people telling the world the bad things they do to their staff. There was a news story not that long ago here, actually yesterday I think it was, about some muffin chain. We all love muffins. Some muffin company here in Australia that wasn't paying their staff the right amount of money. They were underpaying. We have a minimum wage in this country. I think you do in the US too. And this muffin chain were underpaying their staff and asking their staff to work for free. Internships, as they call them. where, you work your guts out for free. That did not go down well. Not well at all. Social media was just in meltdown. The millennials, saying, you expect me to work for nothing. Please. And I agree with them. I mean, please, no one wants to work for nothing. Now, there are internships are a valid thing. I don't discount them. When you're studying for university, an internship is quite common. You get placed with a company that does what you're studying so that you can learn on-the-job training. But that's only for a very short period of time. They don't expect you to work full-time forever for nothing. And that's just to gain some experience and on-the-job training. So I get that. That's fine. But this muffin company here, they wanted to employ people. They wanted people to work for them for nothing. And then they bitched when the millennials said, well, no, we're not going to work for nothing. Unbelievable. Galen says, we have unemployment, but it's different. We also have welfare, which is meant for food and housing, which is what we have as well. We have unemployment benefit in this country. So if you lose your job, you don't have an income, you go to Social Security, which is what they call it in this country, and you get unemployment benefits. And that's just meant to keep you housed, to keep a roof over your head, to keep you fed, and to help you get to job interviews. But they make every time a new government comes in, they try and cut that back and back and back. So, for instance, they haven't raised that benefit for like 25 years. So the benefit is way too low for the cost of living now, but they won't raise it. And then after 6 months, they start making it much more difficult for you to stay on it because they want you to go to they start forcing you to do community work. Now, again, I don't have a problem with forcing people who get a government benefit money to do some community good, some community work. But you get the impression that the government just don't want these people on the benefit. They make it as difficult as they can for them to stay on it. They get them to do community work, which in no way benefits anyone, and just makes it more difficult for these people to actually live. So, yeah, it's not good. Not good at all. So that's the unemployment benefit in this country. So they'll leave you alone, I think, for 6 months. But after 6 months, if you're still on the benefit, I'll expect to be hassled and hassled and hassled and made to do some really horrible community work. Andrew Luss says, if the people who say poverty is a choice only knew how hard it is to get out of poverty, they would understand. Yeah, and again, that gets back to what we were talking about. I really, really wish we could force some of these politicians to live on that salary, that wage, that benefit. Unlike the huge amounts of money they get paid every year to do pretty much nothing, these politicians. Let's face it, they don't do much. They get taxpayer funds to pay their salary, huge amounts every year, and they don't do what we want them to do anyway, and they cut back on social welfare because these people just want to be poor. Make them live on that benefit for a year, for a month. Like I said, just make them live on it for a month, or make them sleep on the street for a week. Just so they can get a taste of what these people have to live, how these people have to live. That they are suggesting choose to live this way. Wax King says also, how's it? Oh, it's going good, thank you, Wax King. Let's get off this subject. It's a bit depressing. I'm doing really well. I was just saying to the guys earlier in the stream, I actually had to work over the weekend. Shock horror. I couldn't just binge watch my Netflix shows. I had to actually do some work this weekend. And they're probably going to send me to the middle of nowhere again in a couple of weeks' time, to one of those mines out in the middle of nowhere to melt in 50-degree heat. They're preparing me. They've been telling me. They're saying, we may need to send you out in a couple of weeks' time, because they know how much I hate it. 50, 55 degrees Celsius. Yuck. Middle of nowhere. Yuck. I just don't want to think about that. But are you? I hope you're well, Wax King. I hope you're good. Are you doing any 3D stuff? Sniper Girl says, but didn't Jesus say to cast the poor out or something like that? I mean, I'm an atheist living in a country that is mostly Christian, and we have a crap a ton of people that are homeless with people that don't want to help them. Yes, it's very Christian not to want to help your fellow human being that's starving on the street, isn't it? Very, very Christian. Very Christian. Sniper Girl says, not saying all Christians or anything, just say, yeah, no, again, I don't want to make that generalization either. I don't want to assume that all Christians are like that, because some of them are not. Most of them probably are not. Most of them do care for their fellow human being, and most of them get incredibly upset when they see people doing it hard or tough. But there are some Christians that don't think that way. So it's for those people, it's a very Christian thing to do, isn't it? To ignore your fellow man in need. Andrew Ross says, I'm in my old city before I did 3D. I used to go outside a lot. I met a lot of the homeless people in the city. A lot of them suffered from mental illness, alongside of addiction. It can be pretty bad, they do. Yes, that is very true. A lot of them do suffer from mental illness as well as addiction. But that's why we should devote more resources to helping them. It's the whole point, because they are doing it. So what's going on here? Open. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So they need help, and we should help them. Galen says, here unemployment is for lost work, but welfare is for those below the poverty level. Oh, okay. See, yeah, it's a bit different in this country. We have unemployment benefits. So you have it for lost work. We have it when you don't have a job or you can't find a job, so you need something to survive on. Galen says, and then the Social Security is for retirees. Well, we have Social Security for pensioners, as we call them in this country as well. So for all those retired people, they get a government pension to help them survive. We have things like single parents allowance, which is for people that are single parents, usually women, to bring up their kids or to help pay to feed their children. And then we have unemployment benefit, which is for people who lose their job. Until they find a new job, they go on unemployment benefit to help them survive. So yeah, I understand it's a little bit different for you guys in the US, your welfare system. Because you have things like food stamps and stuff. We don't have that in this country. These are a little bit easier for me to move around because we don't have those spiky bits on the top that I've got to line them up to. Okay, nothing too dramatic, just moving a couple here and there to make them less perfect. Wax Kinko says, I worked all weekend too. Well, there you go. I'm in good company then. I don't feel so bad. No, I enjoy what I do. I mean, I don't begrudge working on weekends because I like what I do. It's fine. If I wasn't doing stuff for work, I'd probably do stuff for myself anyway. So it's okay. I don't mind. I like doing 3D stuff. It's fun. I don't really consider it work. So I get where you're coming from. Thankfully, I don't work in some sort of job where I really can't stand what I do. And I know there are people that do work in those sort of, not everyone can do what they love. It's just foolish to think that everybody's working in a job that they love. So I'm very thankful that what I do like to do. That's why you guys know I used to be a chef. So I did 4-year apprenticeship to become a chef. And I left that industry straight after I finished my apprenticeship. Some people might say, well, why did you stick it out for 4 years if you hated it? And my answer to that is, I didn't realise I hated it until like 2 years into it. And by that time, I'd already spent 2 years of my apprenticeship learning it. So I didn't want to waste those 2 years. So I thought, well, what I'll do is I will continue for the next 2 years. I will get my qualification and then I'll leave the industry, which is what I did. And that's just in case anything ever happens in the future whereby maybe the unforeseen happens and the 3D industry falls apart or something like that, which is unlikely. If anything, it's just going to get bigger. I have that qualification that I can fall back on. So if I need to get a job as a chef, I can. So I get people work in industries and stuff that they hate and they have no choice. But that's why you should always be taking steps if you hate your job to change it, to get better at doing something that you do like. Again, the whole reason I'm on Twitch to encourage you guys to do art in 3D. If that's what your passion is and what you love doing, then do it. Practice, get good at it, and get a job in the industry. Because they always need 3D people. Or just art people in general, really. Concept art, animation, all that. Andrew Loss says to Galen, it's for retirees for now. Sniper Girl says, well, I'm always working on stuff, so it could be worse. Well, there you go. Galen says, Cuba Pedy. Cuba Pedy, yes, that's right, Cuba Pedy. I don't think I'm going to Cuba Pedy this time, in a couple of weeks when they send me out to that hellhole. I only say hellhole because of the heat. And it looks a bit like a hellhole because a lot of these mining companies have huge dams, reservoirs, like the one in Brazil, I think it was, that recently collapsed and spread all that mud everywhere over those and killed all those people. That's quite normal for mining companies to have these big reservoirs of toxic chemicals that are left over from the mining process. So it looks a bit like hell because you've got this red, rocky ground and sand. You've got these, sometimes the colours can be quite beautiful actually. You've got these like purpley, aqua, blue lakes full of toxic chemicals. So it can be quite pretty, but it does look a bit like hell. And of course it's 55 degrees C, so it feels like hell as well. And I'm surrounded by really ochre Australian men. You know, the type that sit in a pub all day long drinking beer. Well, there's anything wrong with that. I'm not suggesting that these people, you do what you want. What makes you happy? That's mine. But I don't tend to have a lot in common with them. Let's just say that. Because these are mining people. They go down mines or they dig, they use huge machinery all day long, and I'm not like that. I sit in an office and I design stuff. Oil and water, Andrew Loss says, what was bad about being a chef? The hours. The hours are pretty bad. I used to work till about 3 in the morning. I'd start work at 10 in the morning because we had to do lunch, the lunch run. Then you get a break in the afternoon of 2 or 3 hours between, say, 3 and 2 hours, say between 3 and 5, and then you go back to the dinner rush. And then dinner goes right through until, because the restaurants normally close about midnight, and then you'll be working till about 2 or 3 in the morning because after the restaurant closes, you have to prep for the next day and clean. So even chefs have to clean. So yeah, the hours are pretty brutal, which is why I've also found a lot of the people that worked in the industry were alcoholic. A lot of the chefs. Again, it's to do with the hours because they're so, chefs work when everybody else sleeps, sort of thing. And I used to find a lot of people were alcoholic. which can make them short-tempered, and you know, there's the stress of it all as well, because when orders come in, if you're working in a restaurant, pardon me, if you're working in a restaurant that's a decent size, so like the last restaurant I worked at sat about 300, 400 people. It can be very stressful when all those orders come in at once. Everybody wants their food at the same time, sort of thing. So that can be stressful. I didn't like that. And then it's just the fact of working in a hot kitchen on a hot day. Because while restaurants are air-conditioned, kitchens usually aren't. Some of them can be, but a lot of them aren't. So you can be working on a 30-degree day outside, and it's like it'll be 45 degrees in the kitchen because of all the stoves and stuff going. That's the reason I didn't like it. I love cooking. I still love cooking now. For friends and family or myself, I love to cook. That'll never change. And that's the reason I got into being a chef to begin with, was because I really like cooking. And I used to be pretty good at it, if I do say so myself. Yeah, it's just different when you do it for, it's like anything. When you do it for a living, it sort of kills the joy you had of it in the first place. Wax King says, well, my friend, I'm going to head out for the night. It was great to see you and catch you around. Yeah, thank you, Wax King, for being here. Sorry I missed your message for so long. You have a good night, good day, whatever time it is where you are, and thanks for popping in, Wax King. Andrew Lust says, Galen says, I only know Cuba Petey from the movie Priscilla Queen. That's a good movie, Priscilla Queen of the Desert. That was a great movie, actually. Yes, Cuba Petey. Cuba Petey. Yeah, no, I won't be going anywhere near Cuba Petey. And there won't be any drag queens where I go. I can tell you. I can mark my words. They wouldn't be caught dead anywhere near any of the mines I end up at. These drag queens have got better taste than to be caught dead near a mine. Yes, but no, Priscilla was a good movie. Smurfberry says it's not alcoholism, it's self-medication. That's right. Self-medication. I'm not judging these people either. I mean, like I said, it's incredibly stressful. It doesn't surprise me that they're alcoholic because of the hours and because of the stress, and yeah. So I'm not being Debbie judgmental here. I didn't want that to happen to me. I didn't want to turn into an alcoholic, or worse. I was already bad enough because I was you guys know I was a wild child in my younger days. So, you know, between my social life being a wild child and then if I was being a chef and becoming an alcoholic that way, that would have been bad. I would have destroyed myself within 2 years. And besides which, it used to conflict with my social life when I was being a wild child. I couldn't hang out with all my friends and party because I had to work in a restaurant. Andrew Dust says, yeah, you were literally in Hell's Kitchen. That's right. Andrew Dust says, I just looked up that movie. I was 4 when it came out. No wonder I didn't know what it was. Galen says, just what Australia needs. A cock in a frock on a rock. One of my favourite lines in that movie. Costumes are great in that movie too, actually. Thelron Trooper says, wow, that's an awesome model, mate. Did you make it from scratch? Well, Thelron Trooper, welcome to Phil Does 3D. Good to see you. Let's have a look at the model here because Thelron obviously hasn't seen it. I used parts of photogrammetry and the rest on modeling. So my stream for this model is because I get a lot of questions about 3D guys saying, oh, if photogrammetry is going to kill our industry, I'm not going to have a job. And I wanted to show you guys how you could take photogrammetry and make something new out of it. So the top here, these columns, that's photogrammetry. I took some photographs and used software to create the model. The same with the statues here at the front. They're also photogrammetry. So So bits of photogrammetry and the rest of it I've modelled up, and we're going to be texturing it up next week probably. So a bit of both. Felron, yep. Sniper Ego, good to see you, buddy. How are you? Sniper Girl says wild child. Yeah, right. I was a wild child. I tell you, you look at me now and you see this and you think, oh, how straight-laced is this guy? But I was an incredible wild child when I was young. I used to, I'm not going to go into what I used to do, but man, I was wild. I used to, yeah, we're talking between the ages of, say, 20 to 30. I'm over 30, but I'm not going to tell you how old I am. I'm in my 30s, but between 20 and 30, oh man, was I wild. For those 10 years, whoa. I used to really like going to raves. I don't know if you guys still call them a rave, but because I used to be really into techno music. So I used to go to a lot of underground raves where which is just a party in an abandoned warehouse sort of thing. So that was my group of friends. It was ravers, techno heads, DJs, that type of thing. And graphics people as well. I don't know why we tend to gravitate towards that sort of lifestyle, but yeah, a lot of designers. But I was a wild child. Galen says, I think it's the Iron Trooper. Sniper says, sorry I'm late, got distracted for 16 hours at work. That's okay. It's cool. You're here now, that's the important thing, Sniper. Thelron says it's Iron Trooper, tribute to Iron Maiden. Oh, okay. Oh, the Iron Trooper. Oh, wow, how stupid do I feel? You guys know I'm terrible with your usernames. I've said it to you guys before. I'm just the worst. The Iron Trooper. I will remember. Wow, Philip, wow. Tribute to Iron Maiden and the album The Trooper. You get it all the time. Well, I don't feel quite so bad then, the Iron Trooper. My apologies. I'm sorry. You guys know I'm terrible with your usernames. Android Lust says, welcome to 3D, the Iron Trooper 160. You'll love it. Galen says, by the way, I got a year older yesterday. Oh, well, happy birthday for yesterday, Galen. You got a whole year older. But still think you're older. But still think you are older, turned 21 for the 28th time. Yeah, that's right. You're going to be 21 forever. Forever. Well, at least you're going to say you're 21 forever. No, I don't see any problem with that. But happy birthday for yesterday, Galen. Sniper says, happy birthday. You leveled up. That's right, Android Lust says, happy birthday to Galen. You leveled up. I like that. The Iron Trooper says, thanks, Android Lust. I'm really hoping to get into the course. I've met so many nice people already, and I love trying to model already. Well, the Iron Trooper, I want everyone to do 3D. Simple as that. I think everybody should do 3D. I've been doing 3D for 15 years or so. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Did I already do this one? I think I might have. I don't think... Did I do this side? No, I don't think I did this side. Okay. I keep forgetting where I'm up to, what I'm doing. It's all your fault, people. So yes, I encourage everyone to do 3D. It's fun. Even if you don't want to do it for a living, it's just a fun way to be creative, to express yourself. Everybody should express themselves. But if 3D isn't your thing, then any sort of art is really a really good outlet. You know, maybe you're pissed off for the day and you just want to take it out on someone, well, do some art. Maybe you're depressed because, you know, you've had a bad day or things aren't going well, do some art. You'll feel better, I promise. Galen says, asking Iron Trooper, what do you use to model? Yeah, I'm actually curious myself. Galen uses Blender. I use 3D Studio Max. Sniper Echo, who's the mod here, uses Blender. Sniper Girl, I believe, uses Maya. Is that correct? Smoker Barbecue uses Maya, I think, as well. The Iron Trooper says, I've used Blender and Unity mostly. Oh, they're very good. Took a bit of a break, though, sadly, but there's a new program I want to try. You do use Maya, Sniper Girl? I thought so. As I was saying it, I was thinking, if I just put my foot in it, is Sniper Girl going to yell at me saying, how dare you think I use such and such? Like I say to you guys, so every piece of 3D software now is amazing. They're all very good, whether it's paid or free. Blender is completely free. It's incredibly good. You don't have to spend money to do 3D. I've told you guys Autodesk, if you're a student, you can get a free 3-year license for Maya or Max through Autodesk. So no excuses not to do some 3D, guys and girls. Yeah, so everyone that watches me, and Galen's a streamer as well, by the way, so you should check his stream out when he streams next. We also have a guy pop in, Legmog, who is also a streamer. He uses Cinema 4D. And Kiori as well, who is a streamer. You should check him out. He uses Max. Okay, Iron Trooper says, my college uses Max and a bit of Maya too. That's mainly the reason I use Max, because when I did my degree, the university used Max. So I was trained on Max. I love Max. Max is my baby. And when I left university, I went to work in games and they used Max. They use Maya too, but because they use Max as well, I use Max because I was trained on it. Then I went to work in film, and in film I use Max because they use Max and Maya as well, and I had the choice, so I use Max. Now I work in ArchViz and I use Max because ArchViz, the ArchViz industry tends to use a lot of Max. Simply because Max has a lot of built-in tools for ArchViz work to make it easy for 3D guys. Sniper Girl says, I use ZBrush when needed. So do I, but you guys know how much I hate ZBrush. Android Lust says, Maya and ZBrush. And Trooper says ZBrush is the one I want to try. Actually, I'm going to be using ZBrush for this model because I want to... I just want to do a bit of damage on the stairs here because they look a bit too clean and a bit too new. So we're going to jump into ZBrush to do that probably tomorrow. And did you guys hear that the ZBrush 2019 is being demoed on March 5th? That'll be interesting. Let's see if they actually change that horrible interface. Betcha they don't. Betcha Pixologic don't change the awful UI. But yeah, ZBrush 2019 premiere March 5th. Iron Trooper wants to try ZBrush. Galen says, no, my sculpts looks like what a 3-year-old with anger management issues does with Play-Doh. Well, that's okay. That's your unique style, Galen. There's nothing wrong with that. Android Lust says, yep. Yes. Speaking of sculpts, I'll post a semi-recent one on Discord soon. Oh, cool. You do that. Again, guys and girls, if you're not on the Discord server, please do join. There's a good group of very friendly people on Discord. If you ever have any problems or you want to show your work, because we have a gallery section, jump on the Discord server there and show your work. Or if you've got any problems, any questions, jump on Discord. If I don't pop in and help you, somebody else will, because they're, like I said, a great group of people. They're all very friendly, all very helpful. So do that. Just don't post links in my Twitch chat unless you're a sub to my channel, because Sniper Echo or Nightbot will time you out. Only subs can post links in Twitch chat, but everyone can post links in Discord. So Iron Trooper says, seems like Max is the way to go. Well, you know, I use Max, but they're all really good. I'm not going to play favorites. I don't believe that playing favorites is necessary or good or helpful to anyone. Everybody, all the 3D programs are very good now. But I like Max, personally. but I haven't used Blender, so I can't speak to how much better the Max Blender is. It probably is. Sniper loves it. Sniper Girl says, yeah, love the interface of Z. Yes, you know how much I love that interface in ZBrush. You know it. Sniper Echo's memed to me about it. You know how much I love ZBrush's interface. I hate ZBrush's interface. But it is a good program, ZBrush, though, as far as sculpting goes. Which is why you will see me using it tomorrow. Sniper Girl says, Phil lies. We will eat people alive. She won't. She's exaggerating. Everyone's very friendly. Android Lost says, Max is the false 3D god. All hail Maya. Galen says the new beta Blender has a really nice interface update. Oh, cool. Actually, I think Sniper Echo might have shown an image of the interface not that long ago, and it did look really, really nice and clean, which I really like. You guys know me. I love a really clean, simple interface. As an artist, I don't want to have to dig 12 deep into submenus ZBrush to get to the thing that I need. I like everything to be clean. So, and if it's what I'm thinking of, it did look very clean, which is a plus in my book. I see you posted in Discord there, Android Lust. We'll check that out in 2 seconds. And Iron Trooper says, I really want to show myself that I can make something and show my college too. So I have 3 months-ish to work on a lot. Well, make something, Iron Trooper. Just think of what you want and make it. If you want help while you're doing it, jump on stream when I'm streaming, or jump on the Discord if you get stuck doing anything, and I'm all for that. I want to encourage you guys to do 3D. One of the whole reasons I'm on Twitch really is to make sure I want you guys doing 3D. Something I really love doing. I know you love doing it. If you just try, and I think a lot of people think 3D is too hard, and it's not. Not hard at all. It just takes practice. The hardest part about doing 3D is getting used to the interface. No matter what program it is. That is the hardest part about doing 3D. What I used to say to people at uni, because I generally, when we had classes at university where we were doing 3D stuff, because I was doing 3D since I was 12, I used to put chrome balls on a checkerboard ground, that sort of stuff. I used to get a lot of my classwork done ahead of time, I get it done pretty quickly. And so what I do then is I'd help any of the other guys and girls in the class if they were having a problem. And I used to hear a lot from arty people, people that like to draw and stuff, that were trying to do 3D, that it was hard, or they were afraid to do it, or they weren't going to be good at it. And what I used to say to them is, number one, like I say to you guys, once you learn the interface, it's not that hard. You're going to have an advantage if you come from a design, art, drawing, painting sort of background, because you'll have good color sense, which is going to help with your renders, because you're going to be able to color correct everything, color code everything properly. So you've already got a leg up if you've got some sort of artistic background, even if you have no technical experience with software. So if you like drawing, please do 3D, because the skills you learned is doing drawing, color stuff and all that sort of thing, design, you can take into your 3D work. So I want you to do something, Iron Trooper. We all expect to see something from you. Galen says ZBrush has menus. Yes, ZBrush has menus. Who would have thought? You wouldn't tell from looking at it, would you? Well, can we really call them menus though, Galen? Really? Can we really call them menus? Can't we just call it a mess? Android Lost says ZBrush has menus inside of menus inside of menus. Yes, it does, which is why I hate it. Yes, we won't even call them menus. ZBrush just has a hodgepodge of stuff around the outside of a screen where you do your 3D thing. And even that is not normal. ZBrush's main viewport is not like a normal. If you forget to hit that edit button, then you're just dropping it down on that 2.5 inch 2.5 degree, whatever they call it, canvas. You can't rotate around. It's a pain. It's a major pain. They've got to fix that. It's crap. Come on, Pixologic. Get with, we're in 2019 already. Fix your interface. And I'm gonna get hate because I know people that use ZBrush watch me and they love ZBrush. And listen, I love the program too. It's a great program for doing sculpting, but just the interface is awful. And even if you want to keep the old interface, give me the option of another one, a toggle in the program that I can switch to make a different looking interface that's cleaner. Just give me that option. Iron Trooper says, I'd love some help. Thank you. Well, that's what we're here for. If I'm not, like I said, if it's not me, then jump on the Discord server because one of those guys and girls will help you out, I'm sure. And I jump in and out of Discord more than... I stream 2 days a week. So I stream on Monday and Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific in the US. On Friday and Saturday, there are replay streams of Mondays and Tuesdays stream. But I jump in and out of Discord quite a bit, so... I will see any message you post in Discord. And Discord is always open while I'm streaming anyway. Thank you, Sniper, for popping that Discord link in. Galen says, ask the questions you have and we'll try. Yes, try. We'll try and help. Like, I don't pretend to know everything, but if I can help, I'm happy to try. Sniper Girl says, to the Iron Trooper, join the Discord. We have people that use various programs that can help. Yeah, that's right, we do. Galen says spatial awareness helps with 3D. Yes, it certainly does. But you can learn spatial awareness too. Iron Trooper says, I already have. Oh, good. I'm already falling in love with this community. It's really encouraging talking to everyone. Well, you're welcome here, Iron Trooper. Everybody, or anyone watching that hasn't popped in to say hello. Look, I know a lot of people watch me on Twitch and don't talk, which is fine. Because a lot of times when I'm watching guys and girls on Twitch, I don't want to talk. But always bear in mind, if you are watching and you haven't said anything in chat and you do want to join the Discord, you're welcome to. Even if you don't want to do 3D, you don't want to contribute, you don't want to ask a question, you just want to join the community, then you're most welcome. You just want to hang out, whether you want to do 3D or not. Yes, and we are. We're all looking forward to seeing what you come up with, Iron Trooper, as Sniper Girl says. Andrew Dust says, if only ZBrush had Mudbox's interface. Yes, I agree, if only, because I do love Mudbox's interface. Is great. I really, really like it. It's just the choice of brushes is bigger in ZBrush. And there are a couple of the tools in ZBrush I really like. Like I like Z Remesher, and I like the... what do they call it? The dynamic subdivision thingy. Dynamic tessellation, I think they call it. I like that too. And that is in... I just see Galen's posted an image. I'll check those out now, actually. Sniper Girl says to the Iron Trooper, you should check out the share section. Have an apocalypse. Yes, check out Sniper Girl's apocalypse ban on the Discord. It's incredibly cool. And also Smokery Barbecue's incredibly cool alien plant. And check, a lot of guys and girls have posted really cool stuff in the gallery section. You should check it out. There's some really, really, really talented people that pop into my stream. And their work is definitely worth looking at. Hey, what happened there? Where did that go? Well, Galen. I wanted to see that. I wanted to show everybody that picture you posted. Galen posted a picture on the Discord where he had his purple beard. It looked really cool. Why did you remove it? Why did you remove it, Galen? Put it back. It looked cool. You don't have to if you don't want to. But it was very cool. I remember one year he went to TwitchCon and he dyed his beard purple. He's got this amazing beard. So he dyed it Twitch purple. What's going on? He posted the wrong pic, Android. Good, thank you, Galen. Galen's popped it back. Well, let's show this picture. Oh, look at your incredibly cool model and 2-sex Android lust. Let's have a look at this picture of Galen. If you want to know more about me and who I am and what I do, you can go to phildoes3d.com. You can look at some of my past work. You can look at stuff company credits that I've worked on, all that sort of stuff, a gallery. There's links to my ArtStation, my YouTube channel, all that sort of stuff. So feel free to go to phildoes3d.com if you want to find out more about me. There, look at the beard. I love it. Love the colour. Looks so cool. Is this now, or was this from TwitchCon, Galen? Legmog, it's good to see you, buddy. How are you? What you been up to, Legmog? It's 2:55 a.m. Just back from the gym. That's right. You go to the gym at early hours of the morning, don't you? You're weird, aren't you, Legmog? Microwaved baked beans, cabbage, and cheese. Careful with the cheese. If you're trying to beef up, then the cheese might not be too bad, I guess. If you're trying to lose weight, though, be careful with cheese. Monstrosity, protein-licious. Yes, you do want a lot of protein if you're working weights, but cheese can be high in fat as well. I love cheese. I love parmesan. I can eat parmesan cheese by the spoonful. By the spoonful. Or the handful. I love parmesan cheese. A friend of mine sees me eating this parmesan cheese by the spoonful and just freaks out and thinks it's gross, but I love it. Love it. Did I miss something? Oh, you did. My apologies. Thank you, Iron Trooper, for the sub. I'm completely losing it. Thank you for subbing to PhilDoes3D. That's incredibly good of you. I really do appreciate it. So thank you for the subscription, the Iron Trooper. My apologies for not catching it a bit sooner. You are awesome. Thank you very much. Remember too, if you're a sub, you can post links on the Twitch chat. So if you do want to post any links on Twitch chat, you can go right ahead. And thank you again. I'm glad you think it's well deserved. You like the community. It's good. I'm surprised. I mean, a lot of guys and girls that I've seen on Twitch have been pretty friendly, pretty nice. I mean, there's some horrors, but you get that good and bad in every crowd, don't you? But I do appreciate it, so thank you, Iron Trooper. Smokeberry says, lol. Iron Trooper says, I'd say the texture brings the models to life, and the van looks like it's straight out of Mad. Yes, what I said to it. It looks like something from Mad Max as well. But I love the beard, Galen. Galen says, that was from PAX. Oh, PAX, that's it. PAX South, a couple of years ago. I remember you talking about it and showing a picture of after you dyed your beard. I'm sporting my Twitch hoodie with my Twitch purple beard. Nice. Legmog says, you, Android, Galen, male and female snipers, Smurf, and welcome to the Iron. That's right. Well, I'm glad you found us as well, the Iron Trooper, or Iron Trooper. Welcome to PhilDoes3D. Like I said, I love talking to all you guys and girls, so every time you guys pop into chat to talk to me while I work, I love it. And I love looking at the work that you guys are doing as well and showing it to everybody else. Let's get everybody doing 3D. Encourage more people to do 3D. Or just art. Just do art, because it's fun. Sniper Girl says, thank you. Yes. You like the handlebars pick better? Galen the same. And Sniper Girl says to Iron Trooper. Yes, we're all a bit distracted doing everything. Now, that's very cool, Galen. I love that picture. I love that colour beard. Again, Galen actually is a bit of a star because Galen appeared in one of Twitch's official videos. Again, jump on the Discord server. I think there's a link to it on there where you can see Galen in all his glory with a full-on star shot during this promotion from Twitch. And it was a nicely done promotion and a nice shot of you too, Galen, in that promotion that Twitch did. They have to do 3D, Sniper Girls. No, you don't have to do 3D. You guys can do it. Look, you guys on my Twitter, you saw my Twitter page where I posted chibis of myself. So, you know, I'm a 3D guy and I did some 2D stuff. It's perfectly fine to do 2D stuff too. And I did that because I wanted to break from all the realistic stuff I'm constantly doing. I wanted to do a couple of filled chibis. Okay, I'm glad there's no problem. Yeah, everyone's doing good. I will watch people's streams while I work as well, so I get that. And always forgive me, guys and girls, if you pop into chat and you say something and it takes me a good 5 or 10 minutes to respond, just because between looking at work, doing my work, keeping an eye on Twitch chat and keeping an eye on Discord, I get a bit confused sometimes, so it takes me a little while to catch up to stuff. It is a mighty beard, isn't it, Iron Trooper? Oh, Galen's. Oh, you posted a screen cap of the video? Oh, you did too. Let's check it out. So this is a screen capture of the promotional video I was telling you about that Galen was featured in. So there's Galen as part of this promo that Twitch did. And it's a great looking shot, actually. The whole promo was nicely done, whoever did it for Twitch. So there's Galen. With his beanie, with his Twitch beanie. Very cool. That's a serious beard. And Galen says, thanks, Andrew. It is a really nice shot, isn't it? When you see the actual cinematic, the video, promotion video that they put together, Twitch put together, very nicely put together. Let's check out... I don't want to ignore Android Lust because Android Lust has done some great work as well. So let's check out the image Android Lust has popped up. Very nice. So this is another... Android Lust has done some really great characters. Again, jump on the Discord, look through the gallery section to see his work because he's done some really, really nice work. And this one is no different. Great looking character, nicely modelled. Looks great. Why is her skin grey though? Is it supposed to be grey? I'm just curious because you've textured up her shorts and her top. I'm just wondering why you haven't done her skin, or if that's the colour it's supposed to be. Galen was the focus of attention. Android Dust says yes, he was. Galen says I was watching H1Z1 competition. Oh, I was wondering what you might have been. What was so engrossing there for you, Galen? H1Z1 competition. Okay. Yes, I like the handlebars as well, Galen. I think that's cool. The handlebar moustache. Sniper Girl says, yeah, Android Lust is a very great character artist. Has done some beautiful work, Android Lust. Again, jump on the Discord and check it out. All you guys and girls amaze me at just how talented you are. Everything I've seen, I have not seen anything from any of you guys that I didn't think was amazing. You're all incredibly talented. Iron Trooper says, I didn't even notice that. I'm so sorry, Android Lust. It does look awesome. Android Lust, yes. It was grey in concept. Oh, okay. Okay, fine. That's fine. That explains it then. It does. It looks great, Android Lust. All your character work always looks amazing, though. Iron Trooper says, is it a dark elf Android Lust by any chance? Galen says, I love the character, but it looks 2D until you get down to the boots and you can see the shadows. You can understand where you're coming from, Galen, when you're saying 2D. Yeah. And he's talking about the shadows just down here on the ground. No, it looks amazing. Amazing. Nice modelling. Interesting character. You always do great work, Android Lust. But like I said, all of you guys and girls, I've been impressed with all the work you guys and girls do. It's all very good. And I'm sure if you guys and girls want to work in the industry, you can, you will, based on what I've seen of what you guys are capable of doing. But remember, if you're not up to the standard of these guys and girls, don't fret. Just practice, practice, practice. Just do it, because the more you do it, the better you'll get. Android Lost says, probably I was just following someone's concept. That doesn't matter. I'm just not even sure if they wanted to be a Dark Elf. Iron Trooper says, yeah, I get your Android Dust. It reminds me of a Dark Elf with a modern concept. Android Dust says, I think they were planning World of Warcraft when they drew the concept. And again, doing concept work is great as well, because it shows the studio that you can follow a concept, which most times is what you're going to have to do. Most times you don't have the freedom to say, oh, well, I'm just going to do what I want. I'm just going to create what I have in my mind. Generally, you're given a concept that you have to work to. So you can showing studios that you've got the capability of working to concept artists is a good skill and a good thing to show. Of course, if you can do original concept stuff yourself, then do that too, because that shows how creative you are. So do both. But if you can't do your own creative stuff, then following out somebody else's concept work is good too. Sniper Girl says, you're right there. To be good at art, you've got to be willing to work while other people are sleeping, eating. Only way to get good. But I don't suggest you guys don't sleep and eat though. Come on, don't do that. Don't do what I did last year and make yourself sick. So you got to sleep, you got to eat. Your body needs those things. But the only way to get good, is to practice. And the only, so the more you do it, let's just do a quick save. The more you do it, the better you'll get. I promise. You don't have to be doing it constantly if you're not doing it for a living. Just whenever you got some free time, load up your 3D program and play around. See what you can make. The more you do it, the better you'll become. And like I said, the hardest part is learning the interface. It really is. But yeah, no pain, no gain. You do have to put work in to get a good outcome. Android Lost says, starve yourself to get better at 3D. No, don't starve yourself, guys. Iron Trooper says, and I'm really hoping to get into modelling and animation. I'm lucky to be in Scotland. Oh, nice. Because there's surprisingly many opportunities in Scotland for this. There are in Ireland as well, surprisingly. Lots of opportunities in Ireland too. A lot of my friends have worked in Ireland. So Sniper Echo, you got no excuse. If that's what you want to do. Yes, but Scotland too, yep. So do it, Iron Trooper. I encourage you to do it. Keep doing it. Galen says, burnout is a real day. Yeah, it is. I burnt out. The last game studio I worked at burnt me out. I had to take 6 months off. I was completely exhausted. It didn't help that the studio weren't a nice group of people. They weren't the best people to work for either. That's ancient history now, though. I'm moved past all of that. But yeah, it burned me out. I had to take 6 months off where I didn't do any 3D because I was just too exhausted, too burnt out. Pardon me, losing my voice. So yes, burnout is a real danger, Galen, as Galen says. Sniper Girl says, I average 4 hours of sleep a night. Yeah, be careful. 4 hours is, I average about 6. Yeah, about 6. You got to be careful because sleep is really important for your body. You don't want to make yourself sick because then you won't be able to do any 3D work and that'll be even worse. So I'm all for encouraging you guys to do work, but don't overdo it. And sleep is important. So is food. Galen says, yeah, I know a few studios in Newcastle, not exactly Scotland though. Oh, well, we've done our save. Now, we've only got a few bits and pieces left. So tomorrow, I'm going to just do some, move some of the ironwork here to make it look less perfect. And we're going to take this front step into ZBrush to just wear it down a little bit so it's not looking quite so perfect either. So we'll do the steps in ZBrush and I'll just do some of the ironwork movement to make it look less perfect tomorrow, but I think we might leave it there for today, guys and girls. You'll sleep when you make it into a studio, Sniper Girl says. Well, but you don't want to make yourself sick so you don't get into a studio, you know. I applaud the commitment from all you guys and girls that want to do it. Just don't make yourself sick in the process. And I can't talk because that's what I did last year. You guys know. I worked too hard, I took on too much, and I got sick. So, try not to though. Try to eat, try to sleep. Please, please, people, try to eat, try to sleep. Galen says, I have to 9 because of my Asperger's. I have to have 9 because of my Asperger's. Iron Trooper says, thank you for the encouragement to everyone. It's seriously seriously inspiring to see people wanting to help so much, and I'm sure I'll help anyone I can too. Well, that's good, and I'll be back on again tomorrow, Iron Trooper, at 5 p.m. Pacific in the US. There is a countdown in my panels below my stream, which is a countdown in your time zone, wherever you are, to my next stream, which will be tomorrow. I thank you guys and girls so very much for being here and for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. I want to thank Iron Trooper for the sub. That was incredibly awesome and good of you. So thank you very much, Iron Trooper, for subbing to the channel. Like I said, I'll be back on again tomorrow. We will pick up where we left off here, and hopefully tomorrow will be the last day we do the modeling. And then next week when I'm back, I'm going to be doing texturing. So hopefully I'll see you guys and girls tomorrow. You guys have a good night, good day, whatever time it is, wherever you are. And I'll see you all tomorrow. See you guys.